it's revealed that like she's in league with Chang. She's supposed to help them escape, so that when Chang and his homies roll up, Kirk and Bones being killed looks like an accident.
Right, and then she gets a full pardon and doesn't have to stay on Hoth anymore.
So she turns into Kirk, and they do the whole like
Kirk versus Kirk thing. Shoot him.
Yeah, and the guy like shoots fake Kirk, and then he's like, "Why'd you?" And Kirk's like, "Well, why'd you do it?" He's like, "Well, since I'm going to kill you anyway, I guess I'll tell you." But just then, they're beamed out.
Right, because Spock, before Kirk, for some reason, Kirk gets to go to prison in his Starfleet uniform.
Yes.
And right before he left, Spock slapped basically a tracking device onto his jacket. So Spock, as soon as they're out of the no beam zone of the prison, can find them. And also, meanwhile, while they've been doing all that, while Kirk and McCoy have been working out a way to leave, Spock and the rest of the crew have been working on figuring out, one, how to get through the Klingon airspace to get to them, and two, what the mystery of
who done it.
Yeah, who done it. They're playing a great game of Clue. And there's a great bit where...
the guy with the feet?
The guy with the feet, where Chekhov is pulling a fucking Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot.
He finds the boots in someone's locker.
Right, the magnetic boots, which are sort of like the
smoking gun.
Yeah, thank you, the smoking gun.
And
Officer
he's like,
Dax is
and he calls him in, and he's like, and Chekhov's like basically like, you thought you'd get away with it, huh? Like you thought you could do this and we wouldn't find out. Well, it's like a callback. He says, much like the classic Russian fairy tale Cinderella, which like back in the original series, he was
always
he's like, oh, this is from Russia, and that's from Russia. Everything great is from Russia.
Letting his old national pride show through one last time.
And he says, if the shoe fits. And Spock's like, Chekhov, and like kind of motions down, and the dude has like these crazy like
gorilla,
like
alien.
Duck, like,
he has like ET feet,
like that they're not humanoid feet that they couldn't fit into that boot.
Possibly, there's no way.
And so they're like, oh, well, I guess this guy's also been framed, obviously.
Right. So yeah, there's a great bit where they're trying to speak Klingon,
yes,
so that they can get through Klingon airspace, and they're all sitting there with books, actual physical books, like with Klingon phrases in them, and they're all working together to try and translate what the Klingons are saying, and then to speak Klingon back. And Uhura, who in the new movies
is a communications like a brilliant linguist,
right? But in this version is just a competent communications officer who doesn't speak Klingon. And there's this great bit where they figure out like the Klingons were telling them a joke.
Yeah.
And then that they all have to like fake laugh, and Uhura's sweating buckets in this scene.
Well, it's great.
It is a lot of fun.
So they
get Kirk off, and Kirk yells at them for beaming him up. He's
like, I almost figured out.
2 more seconds, you assholes! And Spock's like, would you like to go back? And Bones is like, fuck you, Spock. I never liked you.
Well, they find the assassins.
Mm-hmm. They're
dead. And
they've been stun phased at point blank
range.
Like
exactly. Like they were shot with a phaser sense of stun, but it was at point blank, so it kills them.
They couldn't use the vaporizing kind because if you shoot the vaporizing
an unauthorized phaser,
will set off the alarm, which was neat. Also, I like in this movie you get to see the Enterprise kitchens. You see parts of the ship you've never seen before,
and and really logical stuff. If someone shoots a gun, pretty much they're not supposed to,
right?
The siren goes off, shit's I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
That's actually really Nicholas Meyer, man.
Nicholas Meyer, dude. And so they figured out that it's Valeris that she's done this,
right? And there's this pretty fucked up, but awesome fucked up. Well, she goes to visit the corpses.
Yeah,
but the corpses aren't there. They're gone in their place. Couple of dudes laying together in beds.
Kirk and Spock.
That's right.
Thought you could get away with it, huh?
Spock really he's showing some emotion.
Well, that's his homegirl.
Yeah, that's like his adoptive daughter, for lack of a better word.
And he mind melds with her.
Force mind melds.
Pretty much, yeah. And there's and the first time he does it, like he puts puts his hands on her. He puts positions his hand on her face,
and she kind of.
Well, like I noticed it because I mean I've seen it done a few times, and I'm like it's not exactly right. And Nimoy like repositions his finger
to get it in the right
to
spot.
get it just right, and I don't know if it was intentional or not,
or if they just used a take where he was kind of,
or like maybe or Meyer's like okay, well like that makes sense. Like maybe he has to position it to maybe like he kind of has to like it's not a science so much, but I mean. You kind of gotta like jiggle with it, like the old like TV antennas. Mm-hmm. You have to get it just right
to get that clear picture.
Well, they figure out what's going on, and it's this big conspiracy theory.
The Federation officers have been conspiring with Vulcan, not Vulcan, Klingon
and Vulcan
and Romulans, right?
The whole, I mean, yeah,
everybody who's got a dog in the fight.
Exactly, they're like peace is not good for us.
Right, we gotta keep this shit going. War was just getting fucking good.
It was getting really good.
Did you find that scene uncomfortable? Like, it almost felt like...
Which scene?
The scene where he's mind-melding with her. Like, it's awesome, but at the same time, it's like this weird...
Apparently, Nicholas Meyer wrote 4.
Yeah, he has a writing credit on 4.
Son of a bitch. That whole poot out.
Why did he quit in between? He's like, nah, I'm good for 3 and 5.
He hasn't done anything in a few... He hasn't directed anything.
Counting his Star Trek 6 money still.
Yeah, probably.
The trucks are still backing up to his house. Wow. He's like, I'd love to direct something, but I want to make sure these trucks don't end up at the wrong house.
Which scene?
The scene where Spock is melding with Valeris. Like,
oh yeah. I mean,
it's almost there's a weird like intimate like forced vibe to it almost.
Well, I
mean, it's interrogation.
I always thought the mind meld
is sort of rapey.
Oh, I mean,
it's a very intimate.
It's intimate. It's very intrusive,
right? And the fact that she's, I guess, this young woman and he's kind of this old man. I think there's also that subtext playing into it, and the way she's crying out too is sort of like, especially whenever he's trying really hard to get the where the UN is having their conference, essentially. The World Peace Summit that the Power Rangers got sent off to.
Yes, exactly. Well, they figure out that...
how do they figure out where it is?
Well, they figure out that what fired on the Klingon ship
was another
Klingon ship that was cloaked but can fire while it's cloaked. That's the whole thing.
They're advancement in Klingon tech.
They're like, that's the whole thing. Like, a bird of prey can't fire while it's cloaked.
Right.
And so they figure out that, like, oh, well, they've got this technology now. They can rebuild.
Right, but they find a way to track it.
Yes.
Using, I guess, the ion signal from the engine, right?
Yes. And so there's a battle, and pretty much the Enterprise, like, Chang is like, you're a dick, Kirk, like, there's nothing you can do, you don't even know where we are.
Yep.
And so they're firing, like, torpedoes at him, and the Enterprise is taking hit after hit, and they finally figure out how to track it through the ions, and
Spock and McCoy actually arm a torpedo with it, right?
And
with the tracking device.
It's a great, like, shot, like, you see it, like, kind of sailing through space, and
Chang's like, nothing will happen.
Yeah, but then he's kind of like, wait a minute, and then bam, it hits.
Torpedoes don't fly that way.
And Sulu has
a badass line.
And he's in the Excelsior. He's the captain of the Excelsior now, and he's shown up, and he says
target that explosion.
And so they start shooting, and then everyone starts shooting the Klingon bird of prey, and it
blow it up.
Boom!
It's a great scene. And Kirk's got that great. He gets to do another great fire.
Yes,
which is a nice callback to Wrath of Khan, as well as the torpedo thing, because we haven't seen a torpedo since Spock climbed out of one in Star Trek 3. So the fact that they have the torpedo lowering in, and Nicholas Meyer is very obsessed with torpedo imagery.
So they beam down to the conference where there is a sharpshooter, a Klingon sharpshooter
in the box seats,
ready to shoot the Fu Manchu Red Foreman. Right. Kirk jumps and knocks him out of the way.
He goes, Kirk, Enterprise. He introduces himself.
Yeah, well, I thought he was beaming them. Was he not beaming himself?
Oh, maybe. Well, they're still in the room after that.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was introducing himself like, hi, I'm Captain Kirk. I'm on the Enterprise. You may know me from such things as saving the Earth.
Saving the Earth just now. Saving your life just now.
Yeah.
saving the Earth a few years ago, and
right, doing it again now. Also, I found God, but it wasn't really God. It's a long story. We'll talk about it later. I'm sure we've got a lot to catch up on.
And so, was it Scotty who rolls up on the sharpshooter?
I don't remember.
I think Scotty.
I was eating chips and queso that you brought me at this point. I was like, "Fuck Star Trek chips."
Well, the sharpshooter gets got, and then Gorkin's daughter is like,
"You've restored my faith in my father.
You restored my father's faith."
Right.
And he's like, "You restored that of my son."
Yeah, whatever. Kirk says that back. It's a really nice moment.
Yeah, and so like the peace. There's peace. I mean, like if you watch
Next Generation,
like there's a peace treaty.
Yeah, and there is a Klingon on the Enterprise crew.
His name is Worf.
Yes.
And
character.
And the original series, I guess, for all intents and purposes, ends.
But then they're supposed to go be decommissioned at Starbase, and there's one last great moment.
And I think they're kind of like, well, we have a few weeks. Right. Let's just travel the stars. Let's joyride. And it's you.
Doesn't Spock have a line about like, I believe I speak for us all? If I were human, I would say, to hell with our orders.
Yeah, exactly. Like we have orders. We have orders.
You Spock? If I were human.
Yeah. He's like, but I'm Vulcan.
I
didn't say that. So
if you heard it, that's your business. I didn't say it.
There's a great shot of the Enterprise. Not like not going into a sun, but like going into the light.
Disappearing into a light, and Kirk has a monologue about like after this, a new crew will
take over the Enterprise.
And our legacy will be left to their keeping.
Yeah.
Like, and since we're halfway through Next Generation, even though I know he's talking about Enterprise B, C, whatever, like it really felt to me like a real handing of the torch moment. Like this is theirs now.
Yeah.
We're done. And I got a little choked up even around my mouth full of chips and cheese.
Yeah, like the shot of the Enterprise like going into the light, his voiceover, that was enough, and then it ends with like each of the 7 like their signatures being like signed across the screen,
across the stars,
and like when I watched dude, I started crying.
It really it feels like it's meaningful. It feels like a real goodbye.
Yeah, I mean like
even if you never watched any more Star Trek, that's enough.
Yeah, and I said this. I mean, like I grew to know and love these characters, like, and it's like it was like a crash course, like like in like 3 months or however long it was.
Since February, right?
And so it affected me that much, like this is it, like wow, like this is quite a trek, a Star Trek. I can only imagine how like if you were like 15 years old and 66. You know how, and then you're
25 years later, I guess.
Yeah, and you're 40. You probably have your own kids at that point.
Right.
Watching Undiscovered Country. Like, I can't imagine like how you would feel like
just watching that moment. Yeah, it's a beautiful moment. It's gracefully handled and really nicely done.
Nicholas Meyer, man, what's up?
Seriously,
dude,
legitimized Trek in a whole new way. I mean, I love the original series, but I think he made it something. He took it to that next level. I think, the show is wonderful, but the movies and motion picture to some degree, but it takes it too far. Nicholas Meyer found the right balance in Star Trek II between the humor and the fun, but also like a legitimate, world where things happen and matter, and there's weight to it and gravitas, and continuity. I think starting with Star Trek II, you've got this great continuity that's playing out over 2 through 6. I mean, some entries are better than others, but like it feels more like a series where like each one is sort of building on or taking its cues.
As opposed to like the Bond movies where it's. I mean, there's like some continuity,
but really,
especially since Daniel Craig has taken over,
right?
But prior to that, it was just like a story, and none of the. I mean. 3 doesn't really work without 2.
Mm-hmm. 4 definitely doesn't work without 3.
You don't think so?
How does Spock come back to life? Where do they get the bird of prey? Like you don't.
Well, I mean, like you can still.
You can watch it and enjoy it, but there are pieces missing.
No, exactly. I mean, you can still watch 4 and be like, okay, well, I guess some shit happened,
Right.
And 2 and 3, that's why they're exiled, and that's why they have to go
Yeah,
back.
I saw 4 long before I saw 3, and
And then 5 and 6 you can watch,
pretty much on
yeah.
their own.